In this podcast episode, Rich Roll, a former lawyer turned ultra-endurance athlete and wellness advocate, shares his personal journey of transformation and offers insights on reinvention, perseverance, and the importance of surrounding oneself with the right companions. Rich Roll begins by discussing the pivotal moment in his life when he was 31 years old and found himself in a treatment center for drug and alcohol addiction. This experience forced him to confront his decade-long struggle and take stock of his life. It was during this time that he began to look inward and question why he had ended up in this place and what he needed to do to create a new life for himself. He emphasizes that reinvention is an ongoing process and that everyone has the ability to change and grow. Rich believes that the misconception people have about reinvention is that it is a quick fix or a magic trick. In reality, it requires hard work, patience, and a willingness to embrace discomfort and uncertainty. He encourages people to persist in their vision and not to give up when they don't see immediate results. Rich also discusses the importance of choosing the right companions in life. He introduces the concept of lower companions, which refers to people who don't have one's best interests at heart and can hinder personal growth. He shares his own experiences of being surrounded by lower companions during his addiction and emphasizes the need to seek out people who support and uplift you. He suggests cultivating a community of mentors and advisors who can provide guidance and wisdom. The podcast delves into the challenges of reinvention and the loneliness that can accompany it. Rich acknowledges that the process of change can be confusing, dark, and messy, and that there is often no immediate glory or triumph. He emphasizes the importance of perseverance and a willingness to endure discomfort and uncertainty. He shares his own experiences of being brought to his knees and the moments of truth that occur when one is at their breaking point. He believes that having faith in oneself and trusting that the universe will support one's authentic journey is crucial. Rich also addresses the idea of entitlement and deservingness. He emphasizes that one is not entitled to anything and that one's focus should be on directing their attention and actions rather than expecting certain outcomes. He encourages individuals to evaluate their values, align their actions with those values, and be willing to do the hard work necessary to create meaningful change. The podcast continues with a discussion on the importance of authenticity and true alignment. Rich shares his own journey of discovering his true self and shedding the persona he had created to please others. He emphasizes the need to integrate one's thoughts, words, and actions and to live in accordance with one's values. He believes that true fulfillment comes from living a life of service and finding meaning in helping others. Rich shares his personal experience with this tension between success and feeling enough. He talks about his pursuit of success as an athlete, lawyer, and now as a podcaster. He describes a period of financial struggle and the insecurities and fears that arose during that time. He felt a deep sense of insufficiency and believed that he was incapable of achieving financial success. However, he also recognized the privilege of being able to spend time with his young children and the conflicting emotions that came with it. The conversation then shifts to the idea of suffering and its role in achieving success. Rich reflects on his swimming career and how he learned that hard work and suffering could narrow the gap between talent and results. He developed a belief that suffering was the key to success and that he had to outwork everyone else to prove his worth. This mindset carried over into other areas of his life, such as his podcast and writing. Rich acknowledges that this belief in the necessity of suffering is a lie. He realizes that he doesn't have to constantly push himself to the point of exhaustion to achieve success. He shares his struggle with letting go and allowing himself to take breaks. He describes the fear of missing out and the discomfort of not constantly working. However, he has learned that taking time for himself is necessary for his own well-being and growth. He emphasizes the importance of tending to oneself in order to be a vessel of good in the world. He explains that taking breaks and stepping back allows for clarity and perspective, which can lead to greater opportunities and growth. He shares his experience of taking a month-long sabbatical and how it taught him to trust his team and let go of control. He also discusses the discomfort and resistance he felt during this time, but ultimately recognized the value of stepping back. Rich continues by discussing the importance of direction over speed and the need for goals in personal growth. He explains that having a clear direction and purpose is essential for progress. He also emphasizes the value of systems and preparation in achieving goals. He encourages listeners to reframe breaks and time off as necessary for growth and well-being, rather than as a sign of weakness or failure. Rich emphasizes the value of experimentation and not being afraid to try new things or change directions. He believes that holding on to the same approach for too long can hinder personal growth. He encourages embracing failure and holding things loosely, allowing for flexibility and adaptation. The conversation also touches on the concept of protecting one's passion. Rich acknowledges that it can be tempting to sacrifice personal health and well-being for the sake of one's mission or work. However, he warns against falling into the trap of thinking that one's work is more important than enjoying life. He reminds listeners that they are not as important as they may think and that the world will not come to a halt if they take a break or prioritize their well-being. Rich discusses the idea of fuel sources for motivation and success. While anger and resentment can be powerful fuels, he warns that they are toxic and unsustainable in the long run. He encourages listeners to transcend these lower energies and find healthier sources of motivation. He believes that true growth and expansion come from engaging with uncomfortable aspects of oneself and being willing to do the work necessary for personal development. The conversation also explores the balance between intellectual and emotional intelligence. Rich acknowledges that he tends to live in his head and is enamored with his own ideas and thoughts. However, he recognizes the importance of connecting with the heart and listening to oneself. He encourages listeners to get quiet, practice mindfulness, and be good company for themselves. He believes that by quieting the mind and listening to the subtle energies within, individuals can tap into their authentic selves and experience personal growth and creativity. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe.